I am Jackie. I am a first aid trainer. I just wanted to give you some simple first aid tips that may come in useful whilst we're in these strange times of lockdown. Soft tissue injuries. These are sprains and strains. A strain is the overstretching of a muscle, which is quite common with sport injuries and poor manual handling techniques. A sprain is a sudden twisting or wrenching movement, such as at the wrist or the ankle. Both can result in bruising and swelling. The treatment is the same for both of them. So, treatment is what we call the RICE treatment. R-I-C-E. Rest, ice, compression, elevation. So, here's how you do it at home. If you have got and you've bought a cold compress such as this, which is like a cold gel, you can purchase from pharmacists and some supermarkets. You put this into the freezer and then you would wrap this, once it's frozen, wrap it into a tea towel before you use it. So wrap it in the tea towel and then you apply it to the injured part. So applying it for at least 10 minutes. If you don't have one of these cold gels, then you can improvise by using frozen vegetables, so such as peas, right? So again, place them in the tea towel, wrap it up and place that over the injured limb. Again, you need to apply it for 10 minutes. Now, if the peas thaw out, you cannot refreeze them, so you will be living off peas for the next few days. If you haven't got peas, then you could always use ice cubes. So with ice cubes, so your frozen ice cubes, place them into a bag. I've already loosened these, so they should hold it in there. So put your ice cubes in a bag. Some people give them a bash, but you don't have to. Place them in the tea towel again and then put your cold compress on. Okay, you need to apply the cold compress for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, then you do need to wrap it up, so compress the injury, ideally using a crepe bandage. But if you haven't got a crepe bandage, don't worry. You could use a tea towel or a hand towel and wrap that around the injury, quite nice and firm, to compress it. Keep the limb elevated and rest the injury. Every 2 hours you need to reapply the ice for 10 minutes and then compress it again, and you do that for 24 hours. If the injury is still painful and I'm having difficulty with moving the injury or putting any pressure on the injury, then you do need to seek medical help. There's a possibility it could be a fracture. Stay safe and try to avoid injuries during lockdown.